What is going on, Dawg Pound family? The minicamp dust has finally settled in Berea, and let me tell you, there is a whole lot to unpack before training camp kicks off. We just saw some massive shifts in momentum that will define our entire season. Some guys are stepping up and proving they belong, while others are already falling behind in this high-stakes race. Who's rising to the occasion, and who is currently on the outside looking in? You don't want to miss this update. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let's dive into it. The mandatory veteran minicamp is officially in the books, marking the conclusion of the Cleveland Browns offseason program for 2026. With the team now stepping away from the practice field until training camp commences at the end of July, it is the perfect time to evaluate the winners and losers of this spring period. Among the biggest winners of the offseason, General Manager Andrew Berry's latest draft class stands out as another masterful display of talent acquisition. Number 9 overall pick Spencer Fano has immediately slotted into the starting offensive line, gearing up to protect the quarterback at left tackle for the Week 1 showdown against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Meanwhile, number 24 overall pick Casey Conception proved to be a versatile weapon, lining up at receiver and returner, while helping new head coach Todd Monken integrate motion into the playbook through dynamic jet sweeps. Round 2 selection Denzel Boston also impressed, hauling in everything thrown his way and establishing himself as a physical presence who will likely become a fan favorite in Cleveland. If this rookie group translates their early progress into the regular season, the offense is poised to make significant strides. Conversely, quarterback Dillon Gabriel finds himself on the losing side of the ledger. Despite a solid performance on Thursday, the former third-round pick faces an uphill battle for playing time. He remains firmly behind Deshaun Watson and Sheeter Sanders on the depth chart. Given that head coach Todd Monken publicly stated the team has 2 quarterbacks capable of playing winning football, it is clear Gabriel is not currently viewed as part of that primary rotation. His path to securing a meaningful role remains difficult, as he continues to work through issues with passing accuracy during his reps in camp. While some players struggle to find their footing, others are clearly ascending, and wide receiver Isaiah Bond is undeniably one of the biggest winners of this spring. After missing the entirety of the previous offseason program to resolve off-the-field issues, Bond returned to the Berea facility in better physical shape and delivered several standout performances on the practice field. Coach Todd Monken specifically highlighted that while Bond's raw speed is well known, his balance and body control are often undervalued aspects of his game. Monken noted that Bond's ability to move in and out of his breaks while maintaining high speed has been impressive to observe during these sessions. The receiver is clearly taking deliberate steps forward in his development, which is critical for an offense undergoing a significant identity shift under the new coaching staff. This growth is exactly what the Dawg Pound wants to see from their young playmakers as they look to build chemistry with their quarterbacks. However, not every player is experiencing the same upward trajectory, as center Luke Wypler currently finds himself in a difficult position. Wypler was observed at mandatory minicamp wearing a substantial knee brace, a visible reminder of the injury he sustained in the season finale against the Cincinnati Bengals. With Wypler limited, other candidates are capitalizing on the opportunity. 5th-round rookie center Parker Brailsford received significant repetitions with the starting offensive line throughout the week, and veteran free agent Kendrick Green also saw plenty of action. The battle for the final spot on the offensive line is wide open, but the current rotation suggests the team is prioritizing different configurations, leaving Wypler to fight for his standing once he is fully healthy and cleared for a full workload. This juncture of the offseason matters immensely for the Cleveland Browns because the decisions made now will dictate the team's identity when the real games begin in September. The team is currently in a state of transition, particularly regarding the quarterback room and the overall offensive philosophy. With Deshaun Watson openly stating his priority is simply staying healthy rather than chasing individual passing statistics, and the coaching staff leaning heavily into a ground-based attack, the need for immediate chemistry is high. Why does this matter right now for the team? Because the margin for error in the NFL is razor thin, and the current state of the quarterback room is, by admission, not yet stellar. Consequently, the Browns are leaning into a run-heavy identity that mirrors the success head coach Todd Monken and new offensive coordinator Travis Switzer experienced while previously working with Derrick Henry in Baltimore. Running back Quinshon Judkins appears fully recovered from previous concerns and has been receiving a high volume of carries alongside Dylan Sampson as the staff installs various run-heavy schemes. This shift toward a power-running game serves as a tactical hedge against the uncertainties at the quarterback position. By dedicating these mandatory minicamp sessions to mastering run plays, the staff is creating a foundation that doesn't rely solely on the aerial attack. For a franchise that struggled to satisfy fan demands for a more consistent rushing offense during previous eras, this specific focus is a major strategic pivot. The success of this installation phase is the primary reason the offense looks prepared to move forward, even with a depth chart that remains in a state of flux. Every snap taken by Judkins and Sampson is a brick in the wall of a new offensive identity that the coaches hope will define the 2026 season for this group. While the offense seems to be finding its rhythm, the defense occupies a more complex space heading into the summer months. Despite moving on from defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, there were high expectations that Cleveland would maintain a top-tier defensive unit in 2026. The personnel remains formidable, with names like Mason Graham, Alex Wright, and Maliek Collins, ensuring the defensive line remains a disruptive force. However, the loss of Myles Garrett, who was a massive factor in the team securing 5 wins last season, leaves a void that simply cannot be ignored. Jared Verse has been brought in as a replacement, but the lack of proven depth at the edge position remains a notable concern. The defensive secondary also faces its own hurdles, as key starters Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit did not participate in team drills during minicamp. This absence forces new defensive coordinator Mike Rutenberg to manage his installation phase without his primary playmakers on the field, potentially putting the defense behind the 8 ball as the calendar turns toward training camp. Despite these challenges, the unit managed to create turnovers throughout the week, showing that the aggressive nature of the scheme is still present. It is a balancing act of replacing elite talent while waiting for injured starters to return to full health. The defense must prove it can function as an elite unit without the historical production provided by Garrett, a task that will dominate the conversation during the upcoming training camp. If Rutenberg cannot get his full starting unit on the field early in July, the team may struggle to replicate the high-impact performance that defined the defensive identity in previous years, placing immense pressure on the available depth to perform beyond current expectations to keep the unit competitive in 2026. Looking at the broader picture, the prevailing sentiment surrounding the team is one of resilience regarding the current team culture. There was significant external speculation about whether the trade of Myles Garrett would fracture the locker room, but the reality inside the building appears to be quite different. Instead of a breakdown in morale, there is a tangible sense of a new swagger taking hold among the players. Even with an offense currently under construction and a quarterback depth chart that is clearly in a state of flux, the players appear to have fully bought into the vision and leadership of Todd Monken. This alignment is arguably the most important development of the entire offseason program. A team that remains unified despite major personnel changes and a shifting philosophy has a much higher floor than one prone to internal conflict. The fact that the locker room has responded positively to the new coaching staff suggests that the foundation for the upcoming season is stable. While critics may point to the uncertainties at quarterback or the questions surrounding the defensive depth as reasons for concern, the internal reaction to the current direction of the organization suggests a level of commitment that is difficult to manufacture. As the team breaks for the summer, the success of the draft class, the emergence of speedsters like Isaiah Bond, and the shift toward a more robust running game provide concrete reasons for optimism. The transition from the previous era is clearly underway, and if this new identity continues to solidify through training camp, the Browns will be well positioned to navigate the challenges of the 2026 season with a cohesive and motivated roster that believes in its collective potential under the guidance of the current coaching regime.